stage during that particular meeting, did the issue of land expropriation or the Expropriation Act come up, and what's happening to South African farmers, which has been the predominant narrative of the US, the White House at least, but at an official to official level, did that come up?
No, it didn't come up at all. It was a focus yesterday was on trade and how we can keep trade going. I've no doubt the matter will come up in the course of the period, and we must be honest. We have a rural safety problem, and it affects rural communities incredibly harshly because of poor police resources in rural areas, and of course the difficulties associated with policing in large areas. And that's why I think what we should be doing is looking for partnerships with other countries, but how we can improve using technology and other means rural safety. Farmers and farm workers do feel unsafe and insecure in many parts of rural areas, but it's no different to challenges faced in rural areas around other parts of the world. And what we need to do is to make sure that we focus policing resources there, and that we have a far better synergy between local security initiatives by farmers and farming organizations and formal SAPS interventions in those rural areas.
I mean, undoubtedly, the land question in South Africa is quite complex. It's got racial undertones. There's also issues of legislation and Section 25, and there's also issues of farm workers vis-a-vis farm owners. And you've recently made remarks at the Nampo Agriculture Festival. Some have really pushed back at you. Now, you're also the leader of the DA, the second biggest partner in the government of national unity. And I know you don't like to talk about race, but how important is it going to be for a white man in the agriculture portfolio communicating to the Trump administration that believes that white Afrikaners are being persecuted and white farmers are being persecuted? Do you think, in a way, you are going to be able to bolster Team South Africa's messaging?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I regard myself as the Minister of Agriculture, not the White Minister of Agriculture. And I think we should start seeing people as judging them on their character, not on as envoys of their race. However, I mean, I think we do recognize that in South Africa, we've got to address imbalances in land ownership. And the way we do that has to be responsible and ensure that it doesn't affect food security and doesn't affect the property rights. That's why Section 25 of the Constitution is intact. You would know as well that the matter of expropriation without compensation is currently before the courts of South Africa, as any judicial review of any process of government anywhere in the world would take place. And we obviously look forward to the court clarifying that. As you know, I'm very firmly of the view that compensation has to be fair and equitable, as Section 25 of the Constitution says. And I reiterate, Section 25 of the Constitution remains intact. I don't regard nil compensation as a fair and balanced way of being able to do compensation. But I think that we will get clarity from the court, and we will then be able to ensure that we have an Expropriation Act that speaks to the Constitution. But I come back to the point, we have to address imbalances in land ownership, but we must do it in a responsible way and in a way that ensures that we don't harm the economic future of the country, and that we don't jeopardize food security in the country.
What are some of the tasks that President Ramaphosa has bestowed upon you as a part of the South African delegation, besides having, of course, one-on-ones with your counterparts? Are there any other extra meetings or sideline gatherings that he has perhaps asked you to engage in?
Well, we'll be hearing this morning what extra issues we'll be asked to deal with. As I say, I'm here as the Agriculture Minister, and my job is to protect agri-jobs in South Africa and to protect our agriculture in South Africa, and to make sure we retain market access, particularly on very key niche issues and products: wine, citrus, nuts and table grapes. Very, very big exposure to the US market. Although the US only accounts for around 7% of our agricultural global exports, it's very concentrated in those sectors. And towns like Citrusdal in the Western Cape are almost entirely dependent on access to the US market. So for me, I'm here for one reason, and that is to ensure that we protect our agricultural jobs and our agricultural economy in South Africa by ensuring that we retain access on a favorable basis to a very important market.
What would you say? I mean, Minister, I think we can agree that you've got a substantial amount of support from the agricultural industry as you stand here in the United States. So what would your message be to those who have actually started this fire and have now left it to people like you to put it out here in the United States, where the president has described them as cowards and simply a fringe group that has really now brought us to this moment?
Well, I would say this, especially after having been at Nampo for 2 days last week, that the agricultural sector, and certainly farmers that I interacted with, are 100% committed to South Africa. They don't want to go anywhere else. They are happy to be here in South Africa. And of course, we have challenges: roads, safety, harbours, ports and harbours, and the inefficiencies there. But they see these things as resolvable. And that's also one of the reasons I'm here. We're here to resolve an issue that has arisen. And I'm confident that by working together as an agricultural sector, farmers, farm workers, organized agriculture organizations, agricultural businesses, that we will be able to find a solution through the problems that face us. That, at the end of the day, is the quintessential essence of being a South African. You make a plan, you find a way through. And our entire history has been defined by when we stand together, we can resolve issues and problems. It's when we are divided amongst ourselves that we end up facing big challenges and that look like they're unresolvable. And so I'm committed to bringing people together in a South African way to be able to find a way through the challenges it faces. And we mustn't be naive. We face challenges. This is not a jolly hockey sticks tour saying there's nothing to see in South Africa, everything's fine. We know we've got a crime problem. We know we've got a land issue. We know that we've got an economy that's not growing. But I'm here to be solution-oriented and not just stand on the sidelines throwing stones, but to get into the arena now and start to do something to make sure that we pull together as South Africans, and that the United States government can see that the majority of South Africans, black, white, Indian, colored, whatever, are here in South Africa to stand. We want a country that works for all of us.
So it's important, of course, as the leader of the DA and the second biggest part of the GNU, to have been included on this trip, yes?
Well, I also think it's very good because what it does is it sets up very clearly that this is a new administration. Now, we know things have happened in the past that have irritated the US administration. The Lady R, some of the Israel, the ICJ. And I think it's very important to emphasize that this is a new administration. The 7th administration is not the 6th administration that took many of the decisions that may have irritated, and that they need to give the government of national unity a chance, because we are a new government that is striking out in a new direction of unity of purpose, and with different views and opinions now sitting around the cabinet table that will find expression in legislation, in regulations, and in ways forward.
Minister John Steenhuisen, thank you for your time.